role. I'm excited to see what Nesty can do here. Obviously, Blitzcrank yesterday, Rel today. Very different champions.
The Rel definitely, I think, will be a test for him to really see how good is he actually as support.
Ghost on Cascada. Now, there isn't a lot of CC that he can cleanse, but it's not very hard for Ari to follow up a Vi with both the Charm and Renekton with the stun. So it can be a little worrisome. I guess the Ghost does give him a little bit more safety.
I do understand why he took it, but I do also wonder if it's a mistake, because I feel like every time, even when there's only a Renekton in the game, right, that's your only CC, I feel like it always happens at least once. The Renekton finds the flash W, right, and the AD carry just instantly dies, and there isn't much you can do about it. Now, that might just be a kind of misposition, and maybe that's kind of what they're thinking, like, if we position well, it won't be a problem. But it feels like it's just always a problem. And Rest, he's very good at the Renekton, so we'll probably look for that. Now, it is double first strike in the mid lane, which I actually think is slightly better for Mission, because I think at Worlds, we saw a lot of Ari with Airy in this matchup and just really putting on the pressure early game, especially with the Doran Shield nerfs. But going the first strike, obviously won't be able to pressure the early game as much as you could. And while it does give the Ari that kind of solo AP scaling, I think shutting down Mission might have been a better choice. Either way, though, it's stylistic. I don't think you can really say if it's right or wrong. Chelsea. He wants to get a little aggro here.
Yeah, it is going to. Will be receiving the Pulverize, but trade in favor of DCG. Level 2 will be coming in here first. Fairly significantly faster for CFO. No real surprise. Game paused. Looks like on our screen there, Shun might be having some problems.
Yeah, maybe
to the refs.
I'm not sure. Ref, these two guys are standing too far back. Bring him closer. And I'm sure it's some sort of technical issue, and hopefully will be resolved in short time.
How are you feeling? All right. Overall, where do you think, like, if give me a top 6 in order. I mean, we're only halfway through now.
In order for the end of the split?
For the end of the split.
Okay. I think number 1, Beyond. Are you offended by that?
I'm offended. I am offended by that.
Number 2, PSG. Number 3, J-Team. Number 4... I think 4 is hard. Can I wait till the end of this game? I feel like 4 is CFO or DCG. I feel like it's probably CFO, 5 DCG, 6 Frank. That's what I'm thinking right now. But I also think that could change a lot in playoffs or even towards the end of the split. Like, I would not expect... If Frank make it to playoffs, I almost don't think they will be last, you know? I feel like if they do make it to playoffs in solid form, Frank are pushing for 3rd almost.
Yeah, well, even last split, when we thought there were 2 clear weaker teams in that playoffs, they took PSG to Game 5. They took CFO to Game 5. I mean, there was no real bad team when we got to playoffs. I think they really bring it together at that stage. But I think my top 6, I've still got PSG at 1. I have PSG at 1. I have Beyond at 2. I'm torn between J-Team and CFO, because I know J-Team beat CFO, but I feel like right now CFO just playing worse than they probably should be.
I think so.
So I think I have CFO at 3, J-Team 4, DCG 5, and Frank 6. But again, today, if Frank lose today, which they're likely to, I have to say at this point.
Yeah. They're going to be so far behind.
Yeah, that's right. They are actually having to compete for their 6th spot. It's not just a given. If they do win today, though, you feel pretty confident about their chances. I will say, part of me wants J-Team to win, because it's pretty exciting seeing this team didn't even make playoffs, bring Driver in, who is one of the most charismatic players here in the PCS. They bring this man in, and they're contending for 1st. It's a very exciting storyline.
Certainly is. Now, across the board, haven't seen that much action.
No.
But the jungle pass are opposite right now, so we'll have to see if there's anything that's going to come of that. Obviously, the Sejuani moving towards the Jax wants to be able to fight around him. Pretty much unbeatable in the 2v2 here early on, and Gemini with that bot priority will probably be playing for that bot scuttle, so I think we'll probably see a relatively slow early game. Unlikely to have too much, but maybe that first dragon could be where we look towards. You know, when we are talking about CFO, first dragon always has to be in that conversation.
Yeah. admittedly, good skirmishing potential for DCG in this game too, so if all things are set up well, I think there is the chance that DCG can look to contest or take it for themselves. I don't even know if you want that to connect this mission. That looked a bit dangerous.
Happens a lot with Silas. Some chains you do not want to hit, and they end up being much longer than you thought. But I mean, it'll be really interesting, I think, to see kind of how these fights go, because there is just the extremely strong engage and teamfight potential from DCG, right? The Jax, Sejuani, Silas topside, very hard to deal with. On the other side, though, there's a lot of pick, right? CFO can one-shot, probably not one, but maybe even two people. So it can be tough. I think if DCG manage to ball up in time, they can deal with it pretty easily. But if they're caught out, obviously it's going to be in trouble. And Mission, he's taking a lot of damage here. Does have still the health pot, Doran Shield's second win, so a lot of sustain that can come through. Is putting points in Q as well. 3 points Q.
Do you reckon it's going to be the static shiv on the Silas? We saw Zhao2 do it earlier in the split.
I think no.
Everfrost?
Ooh, maybe looking at a gank bot here.
Yeah, Hana might have a really good timing here. Shall see. The Graviton will come through. Stun up 2, and that's Flashpoint out here from this Alistair. Will be getting stunned up. Should be killed, hopefully given over to Chris Scarter. It will be. That's first blood. Is Shun getting a bit too lippy. He's getting the Graviton as well, but there's no mana left on this Aphelios, and that's just a free double kill.
Shun just woke back up and died. And I feel like that's a big blunder by CFO, right? You know that your jungler is on the opposite side of the map. You know there is the Sedge should be pathing back towards bot. And it feels like, I don't know, I guess we'll see a replay of it, but it feels just like laziness almost to be caught out there. And then Shun, he was out. You can see here, you know, I guess they wanted to crash their wave and couldn't get it in time. But ultimately, you know, all things considered, Shun can just leave here, having lost the cleanse, and he's completely fine. And this isn't too bad. But I think once Shun overcommits, and for what? It's like there's no chance you can ever really take Nesty out here. And ultimately ends up going down without either of the bot flashes being used, which is very important because now, how are you going to lane, right? Like, you can be flashed on at any moment.
Ooh, Gemini is on this dragon, but it might be found ours, and...
Ooh, CFO classic.
Yeah, CFO, they should get it. Only Nesty coming to scout. So, they do get double killed, but pick up that dragon pretty much on spawn. But what is it going to cost as Nesty goes forward? Good pulverize there to slow any engage there from the rail, and it looks like they should be running away. Flash committed out of Cascada.
I think it was Nesty's flash as well, right?
Yeah,
I think it was a double flash, and they didn't find anything other than Gemini's flash. So that flash disadvantage we were worried about in the bot lane is now all cleaned up. Mission, he is going towards Everfrost, and I think I like it more. The Shiv, while it does give you, of course, a lot of CS and a lot of wave clear, I think it's too much damage and too little HP for Silas. You know, you really need to be in the middle of the enemy team this game. And I think especially with Alistair ult, just being, you know, having more HP, having more resists is really good. It's just going to make your longevity in that team fight even more difficult to deal with. And a lot of the time, last split, we saw those Silas going for the Rod of Ages. Feels like it's honestly just kind of too slow for how the PCS plays. I mean, even just this early in the game, there have been a lot of fights already. And while Silas hasn't been involved in them yet, you have to feel like the earlier he can get involved, the better.
Yeah, probably next Dragon you want to sort of be at least somewhat online. Rod of Ages would not allow that. Especially against CFO, I think there's probably some teams in the PCS that you can go the Rod of Ages against, but I think CFO are absolutely not one of them. Team plays early and fast. As Chelsea looking for an engage here, but it's Hana that is in the area. Nesty actually goes and whiffs the stun there on the Rel, but looking at mid lane, it is Mission copping a lot of pressure from the Ahri. Not very surprising. Eventually...
Ooh. Could be in trouble.
Okay, is level 6 on the Vi. Mission is going to be caught out. That is ult committed, and he should be going down. In fact, will be. And the dive comes out bot. Nesty is going to go down, and there's nothing else to be found. Very sloppy dive there, you have to think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like DCG, they want to be able to pick up a lot more than that. If a mid-gank, mid-dive even comes through for free and you can't trade back on the bot side, feels very bad. And now, CFO, with that pressure from the mid-jungle, they're going to be the ones picking up this Herald.
Cascada has
no sums.
Yeah, maybe can look to try and do some damage to Shun, but for now at least he's just trying to ghost away. Will get rooted up by that Blade Caller. goes down. Shun picks himself up one. So early lead that was afforded to DCG now has been lost.
Yeah, it feels really strange, honestly, from DCG. I'm not sure how Cascada ended up getting caught, but you have to wonder, are you now playing to the wrong side of the map? Because I think this early gank onto bot initially was very good. They go for a repeat gank. Unfortunately, Nesty fumbles the engage. I'm not sure if anything would have been found anyway, just a bit of damage on Shall See. But this was, in the meantime, they know that mid gank is going down once Mission dies, and they want to redive, but there's not a whole lot of CS.
Too high health.
Yeah,
How
full
are you
HP.
ever diving an Alistair like this?
The Xayah has cleanse as well, I believe. Didn't even have to use it. No, it really wasn't that close.
No.
And that's a big problem, because you're thinking that if you're drafting Sejuani, Jack, Sars topside, that you are going to get that Herald, because there's just no way that they can test. And, I mean, credit to Hana, he did find that really good early bot gank. He kind of put them in a good spot and then could just go back to playing towards a strong topside. But it feels like he stays around for far too long. Yeah. And now, it's like you don't get anything out of your topside, but you're also losing on bot. Mike and CFO's position.
I think, yeah, they're looking very strong now. And, I mean, you see Everfrost now online for Jimmy and Zari, and not particularly close for Mission on the Silas. I imagine a lot of gold probably going towards Jimmy and with that first strike as well. But you see, I mean, things going up top, how you'd kind of expect them to. Renekton getting himself a slight lead and winning out on those trades early game. But again, Hanabi will find his comfort zone and quite a lot of strength in the isolated 1v1 as soon as that Divine Sunderer comes online.
50 seconds on the next drag, and with the item advantage here for CFO, it feels like it should just be theirs. Maybe that team fighting strength can come out of DCG. Perhaps looking at Jimmy. Too mobile, though, is not going to be looked at. And DCG, they're holding this river, but I feel like when CFO want it, they'll probably be able to get it. And I feel a little bad for Hanabi, because he probably feels like, sure, you're not going to receive pressure in this lane, really, but you are expecting fights to kind of happen on your side of the map and to be involved really with that Sejuani. Maybe bot is spotted out there, Gemini, on that ward.
Now, Cascada's flash is almost available, and his guns, while not the highest DPS guns for a team fight, do offer quite a lot of CC, as well as splash damage. Can be pretty impactful, as Nesty now looking for at least a slight trade onto Chelsea, who finds a 3-man knock-up. Ooh, okay, that is a pretty big trade now.
Yeah.
That means the Dragon's going to be very hard for CFO to contest.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage traded back. Jimmy, though, with a lot of mid-priority.
I think that's perfect usage of Phelios.
Was very nice. And I think it looks like this Dragon will probably just be ignored for a while. I think DCG, with that chunk, slow down any chance of CFO starting it. But also, it feels like DCG can't start it either with kind of how the state of mid lane is.
Yeah.
Jimmy is doing a very good job. Again, it is kind of a good matchup for Ahri. I mean, you oftentimes see Silas picked into Ahri for the ulti. But in that 1v1, Ahri's definitely advantaged in the wave clear and in the trades. You can kind of see it here. You know, going for the Everfrost so quick. Had that kill accelerated as well. I think even got a mid plate. Yeah, it looks like.
I think Mission should have Everfrost here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Their skirmish now is a lot stronger. I mean, if you were around the Alistair as well, it just... Oh, okay, that's ult out of Jimmy.
Yeah, okay. Pretty decent. I mean, it was an ult trade, but you have to feel that Sejuani without ult is much more playable than an Ahri without.
Yeah.
And I wonder if now DCG just look towards that Dragon.
I don't think you can dive Hanabi.
I think Hanabi's fine, but with that Ariel burned, I would imagine the Dragon is just taken.
Yeah, and if Alistair is anywhere near it, you're going to get an unkillable Silas as well, so...
So there's healing reduction picked up by Jimmy. I think oftentimes it is a bait because you can just build the damage and end up doing more. I think there is at least an argument here. Hold on, as we do have a pretty big trade in the top lane. Just an argument, I think. Oh, okay, he's dead. Can TP come through for Mission?
There is no ult on the Vi. Grandmaster at Arms will come out. He's quite tanky, but certainly not tanky enough. As he is taken down, that should be more plates going over to rest as well as that kill. So all three lanes kind of suffering at this stage, but I think if DCG can slow down the pace of what's happening, gain some control around the map, can find themselves sort of plateauing this gold lead.
They did manage to get a drag, so at least that kind of early Dragon win condition has been silenced for now. But you're really kind of feeling the mid difference at the moment, which is not something you think about when you normally talk about Mission as Hana.
Oh, Hana, you are in the bad spot, my friend, as he is going to get engaged on, but ultimately is going to be able to escape. That's Ignite out of Oyster. I'm not sure if he used Flash or Hex Flash, but luckily for DCG, Hana will not go down.
He does live for now, and he is going to be pretty tanky this game, but with Shun's items coming in pretty early, we'll have to see how long it ends up lasting. And coming back to that point, it feels like Mission, once again on the Sylas, just has a much harder time finding the pressure in the early game. And a lot of that is just by champ and matchup, and you are playing for something different. But it almost feels that DCG have kind of just grown used to having that constant mid-pressure, because they're making a lot of plays, very aggressive plays, as Hana. He's been looked at. No flash this time.
Yeah, Hana does not have flash. He's going away from the tower, but does land that Glacial Prison onto Shun, which stops any form of dive coming through. It's pretty much a Sejuani without cooldowns now, though. Luckily for him, isn't too much to contest unless CFO do head towards that Rift Herald, which it looks like they might be doing.
And I think CFO should feel pretty in control. I think despite DCG's strong skirmish potential, I think the items are here for CFO. As long as they play it out decently, should be in a good spot. I think also important is maybe to try and just stop the Sylas from getting a good ult. I mean, it is difficult because there are several. But maybe if Oyster can just kind of wait a bit longer until Sylas chooses a different ult, I think that could go a long way. Obviously, they are ahead, so they kind of just have a lot of options at the moment. DCG, they're going to try trade back something onto bot tower, but it doesn't look possible. As Jimmy very safe. Lots of mobility, Everfrost self-peel. Maybe they can look for mid, but Shun as well is equally safe. It feels like CFO, they don't really have any gaps in the armor that can be exploited. And DCG, they're kind of just waiting for CFO to overreach, which admittedly does happen a fair amount to the side of CFO. I've seen many games where they do find themselves with a big lead and maybe give over a couple of shutdowns here and there, which make the game just a tad harder.
Fairly steady gold increase here for CFO after that initial gank found by Hana. Not much else has been found. Obviously, the one Dragon. Dragon is going to be spawning again in a minute and a half, and with items coming through, Kraken Slayer, Sunfire, and Divine Sundra, is the chance, perhaps, that DCG will look to contest, but there is a support item gap, I think. Almost when it comes to these early game skirmishes, it feels like those support items are the most important items and what they can add, just not to their individual, but to the team as a whole. So perhaps the Evershroud on Oyster is enough to dissuade anything happening. But Mission here, locked up under the tower, is going to be going down. That's Ariel's and Viol committed. And with a minute till Dragon, with those committed, they're going to get a tower. But I do feel like now DCG, this is their Dragon to take.
Does feel like it. There's a lot of used. That being said, I mean, with the Herald and with the Tempo, I'm not sure if DCG will ever actually be able to get here. Maybe they can look on Gemini.
They're looking now.
He's spotted low HP, but is there enough
Nesty's
threat?
in the area. Glacial Prison will stop out that Vault Breaker as he's stunned up again here by Nesty. Follow-up comes through. Magnetstorm does go wide, but he flashes forward to make sure it connects. As the Sejuani will land the flail, but now looks like Gemini's created enough space for him. But hold on. Mission's here. Mission has the cease and desist. Is not going to land the chain here onto Gemini, but will come through now. Charmed up under tower. He's going down again. But it's going to be Rest who turns up. Nesty's running for his life. Is he going to be fast enough? Should be able to land a stun soon. But it's going to be Rest. Flashing forward, landing his stun of his own to secure that kill now. So 2 kills. Bound for CFO. Teleport committed for Mission for the 1 kill and another death. 1 and 3 on Mission Sylas.
Yeah, and Hanabi. CFO, they're looking for more, and I don't think he has anywhere to go.
But Rush committed.
He's using a lot, but...
Yeah, Hanabi's getting a lot out of this. Charm does go wide as well, and Hanabi, for now at least, is living. It feels like he's going to just get away.
Yeah, it does manage to make it out, but you have to feel like CFO in such a commanding position now. The gold lead is quietly
teleports. I don't know if
accelerated to
maybe.
A pretty big lead here. He teleports to top, and I think that should kind of confirm that this Dragon just does go to CFO. It was probably going to be theirs anyway. And we'll see the engage on a Gemini. I mean, he does sort of look out of position. He's very extended. Dash was cancelled, but there just isn't really enough damage between the two of them. It really is just jungle and support without the damage to back it up. And it was a long TP that comes in from Mission, and I think he was a bit greedy. Unfortunately, he missed the E, and that forced him to have to commit the Vial for the kill. But that also means that Jimmy's Charm had come back up, and he went down pretty much for free.
Yeah, it feels like you just use the ult there immediately.
Yeah.
Don't have to die, but was a little bit greedy with it as Mission now takes a Spirit Rush, trying to use it to get away, but it's going to be that cease and desist used, making sure he cannot get away. Is going to go down for his 4th death of the game. You see him scratching his back there. He's not happy with his performance, and it is a bit unfortunate, but shall see now. There's fights everywhere, just non-stop. Oyster, though, not the most killable target, is going to commit his ult for the Magnet Storm, so it is just the support ult trade.
It does just walk that one out, and I feel like now, DCG, they almost feel like they're completely out of this game. Their skirmishing comp, it really struggles from behind, and I think you're kind of relying on Cascada to have a really big team fight performance, to have a chance at coming back in this game. But it does kind of feel like you haven't made any use of your Jax, Sejuani, Silas topside.
No.
And while I think CFO, they'll probably need some time to close this game out, because they don't have the best siege, I think they win any fight around Dragon or Baron. So as long as they play it sort of carefully, and don't give over too many shutdowns. I'm not sure how DCG are going to find a way to somehow crawl back into this one.
Speaking of Baron, is going to be spawning now, hitting the 20-minute mark here in this game. And 20 minutes with almost 8k gold as Jimmy looking for a solo kill here on Hanabi. Is going to get a little bit of health back there with that Divine Sundra, but ooh, Grandmaster Arms is committed. Hanabi very, very low. Is going to just go down to the Spirit Rush. Most likely will be going down there. So Jimmy playing fantastically around his cooldowns, finds the solo kill now onto Hanabi's Jax.
Does just feel like DCG are falling apart. It's an 8k gold deficit now at only 20 minutes in, and this is with a comp that should probably be winning early game fights. Instead find themselves at this massive disadvantage.
Yeah.
So
I think
what are they gonna look
admittedly,
for?
they do scale well. I don't think it's a team that just falls off completely. I mean, you've got Aphelios. No matter what, as soon as you get, if you're a late game Aphelios, you do just insta-kill a team sometimes. And Mission teleporting down, is it going to be his demise? Is out of range there, at least for that cease and desist, but it's going to be his tower going down. More gold now given to CFO.
Yeah.
Baron should be looked at next, you'd have to think.
Yeah, I think it's still a little scary to start at the Baron. They don't have the greatest DPS in the world. I wouldn't be surprised just to see them play towards the 3rd drag before they go for it. Alternatively, I think if they do land a pick, especially on the top side, they can just start it up. It is the Morello on Jimmy. And so you want, I think there are probably better builds, but it's still pretty solid in this game just because if Mission can't find a way to start healing, if Cascada with the lifesteal can just be shut down early, I don't think there's any chance they really come back. So I don't know. It's a very safe item to go. I'm not sure it's the best though.
I think my main concern with it is that a lot of these team fights, if Mission does get that Unbreakable Will ultimate, he's not really relying on the healing all that much. And then from the other members, I guess Cascada can do a bit of healing, especially if he is going to be red-white gun. But even then, most of his damage, I mean, most of his auto attacks do come from the Chakrams and not Severum, I believe it's called.
Yeah. Nesty, he's got his item now. And, okay, Shalsey, he's got himself a book. So he's probably building a Zhonya's on Oyster, and I can't remember how the interaction works. But I think if you Zhonya's Silas ult as he tries to steal it, I think it goes on cooldown.
Oh, okay, that's going to be interesting. Mission has taken it at least for now and is looking very unkillable. Getting a lot of cooldowns out as he remains... he doesn't go down very quick. It's Hanabi jumping in as his team runs away. Is going to commit the counter-strike here, but will inevitably go down. Not very cohesive there.
No.
Everyone running away as Hanabi jumps in.
And I think this should just be the Baron going the way of CFO, as long as they can keep Hana out of the pit.
Yeah.
Feels like he should have no way to get in
There's
there,
a lot of
really.
bodyguards.
Yeah. He probably does have to try.
Yeah.
They
he does
need a
have
miracle
flash.
to come back.
He does have his flash.
Oh, he's spotted out, though, by the sweeper.
Yeah, okay. He's not getting in there anymore. Oyster.
Oh, he failed the Q as well.
Ugh.
And you feel like you're out of options here for DCG. Yeah. That might have been, if the gold were even just a little closer, perhaps a winnable fight, right? With the Silas with the Unbreakable Will lives a very, very long time. But unfortunately, They really are just the items that you need here on the side of CFO. I mean, you'll see, he does last a very long time, but the problem is it's just his teammates are too far away and no one really has the damage. You can see Cascada is kind of too afraid to walk up anyway, and for good reason, right? If he does walk up,
he's just
will
dying.
find himself engaged on. Hanabi, I think, again, it kind of screams desperation. For good reason, right? They are very desperate at this point. They needed to find something. So I don't really fault DCG for continuing to try and play aggressively, because I don't think they're going to come back slowly.
Back to live. That is the Sejuani now falling down.
I wonder, with that, can CFO just look to push for the end? Because there isn't a whole lot of wave clear. Maybe not an end, but it feels like 2 inhibs could definitely be on the table. And if any more members go down, the Nexus might go along with it. Hanabi's trying to trade something back on the other side of the map, knows he is just not going to be useful at defending these towers. But that also just speeds up the CFO timeline. Going to be 1 tower broken already. Next one not too far behind. And I think that with more than a minute and a half still left on the Baron, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just ignore this Dragon and decide to keep pressuring. Looks like they will. They're moving forward.
Oh, Flash is going to Flash Pulverize found here onto Mission, who will be using the Zhonya's to go golden, but it's Cascada in the middle of 5. He's actually finding quite a lot of damage, but not enough to take down Rest. The tower will do it for him. Massive root there, and it's going to be another 2 members going down as Mission will get back, get some health back, and join again. Hanabi now finally joining the team. Spirit Rush found from Mission, and Hanabi trying to do what he can. He finds a 2-man Counter-Strike, but is going to inevitably going down. Oh, Jimmy,
Almost.
you stole the penta!
Was almost our second penta of the summer split here. But CFO, in very dominating fashion, do take out the